Hey everybody, my name is Steve Bailey. I want to start this out by asking a question. How do you tell somebody that you've never met that's completely changed your life? Thank you. That person, his name is Seth Kniep. He's the owner, co-founder of Just One Dime. Just One Dime, for those of you that don't know, it's an Amazon coaching company. They give you all the knowledge you need to get selling on Amazon. I hate to call them a company because it's more of a community. It's a group of people that are there for each other and they help each other, and it's just, to me, it's way more personal than a company. I'll tell you guys a little bit about my experiences with them. So it was about 2017. I was looking up ways to sell art on Etsy to better sell it. And I come across these articles on, they call it retail arbitrage, selling things. And I started looking into that and Googling it, and I ended up on YouTube. That's where I ended up finding Seth. There was a couple others at the time too, but Seth's more on a personal level. Like he tells you, you know, his struggles, his financial problems, marriage problems. You can relate to them because we all had these problems. So I'm watching Seth and learning from him, procrastinating through maybe the first half of the year. So I'm with my buddy. We're at a Walmart getting some shoes for his boy. And I decide, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take this $100. What's $100? And I'm going to try to find some products to, you know, go forward. We're going to move into this. So I find, actually there were these, not the exact same thing, pretty close to it. And they're 25, 50, 75 cents a piece. I spent $77. So I get home that night. I start looking on how to sell, shipping methods, stuff like that. I get them up. I get them listed on eBay. About 2 weeks later, that $77 becomes like $860. And it just blew my mind, like the simplicity of the whole thing. I was just blown away. So I continued to do this stuff throughout, you know, mid 2017, and I'm going to garage sales. I'm going to thrift stores, buying board games for $3 and selling them for $30, and it's starting to generate all this cash flow, and it was just amazing. So towards the end of 2017, I said to the wife, I said, I'm going to take some of this money and buy some of these products from these companies that Seth mentions in his YouTube content, and it's all still there. It's all free. I mean, you can go there right now, Seth Kniep or Just One Dime. It's all there. So I take some of this money and I start ordering some products. They come in, I start selling them on eBay. I'm not selling on Amazon. Pretty soon I'm getting up like an hour early, 2 hours early. You're starting out, you know, 50, 60 bucks at night while you're sleeping. Then all of a sudden, 80, 90, 200. And then it starts happening where I start making like $300 a night while I'm sleeping. And I'm just blown away. And I'd say it probably lasted, that was probably about 3 weeks on average of about 300 bucks a night sleeping. I make $200 a day at work, and I was just like, it was so surreal. So in the meantime, some of my friends started asking, they're like, hey, my buddy wants to know where you get this. Can they get one? And then, so it starts to dawn on me. I'm like, what if I just ordered some of these in and try to sell them around town? Worst case scenario, sell them online. So I order a couple $100 in, and within like 2 days, I sold almost $2,000 worth of stuff locally. So I'm doing this stuff into 2018 now. So February, maybe March-ish. In the meantime, my wife has taken a promotion, salary job, and her 45-hour work weeks end up becoming like 90. She's working 7 days a week. She gets 1 day off every 14 days, and that day she was spending about 15 hours a day doing payroll for the company. So one night she comes home and she's crying, and I take the positivity that I'm getting from Seth, you know, in his videos and his Instagrams and stuff, and I just say to her, you know, what would it take you to quit your job? You're not happy, quit your job. Find one that makes you happy. And she had nothing of it, you know. Finally, she says it'd take like about a year's worth of bills, the rest of the year bill money, just to make me feel like comfortable enough to quit. So that next day she goes to work. I ran around the house. At this point, I got a couple $1,000s stashed in my art studio out in the garage. I got money stashed in vinyl records and all over the house, just for money that, from what I've learned from Seth on YouTube. So I go to the bank, put the money in there. I transfer the money into her account, and she comes home that night, and I said, hey, you know, here's the money. And she looked at me like, where did you get this money? She ended up getting a new job. She's still working there to this day. I mean, she's working half of what she ever was. She's making more money, and she's absolutely happy. So about this time, we get the opportunity to buy her grandmother's house. She developed Alzheimer's, and we get the opportunity to buy the house. So we talk about it, and, you know, where we're living, the neighborhood's getting pretty bad, you know. And we decide, you know, we know that there's going to be that chance that this could happen or that could happen, and we decide, you know, hey, we're going to do it. So we take this chance. And I should also stop and say, I've been struggling with alcoholism for probably a good 8 years. I didn't really realize it at the point, but I guess you never do when you're in the middle of it. So we decided to go forward with the house, and I stopped selling things, you know, and I'm focusing more now on fixing things and putting some flooring in and just get the house to where when somebody walks in, they're going to want to buy it. So in the meantime, we had a couple bills came up, you know. I used that money that I gave her for comfort to quit the job, used that money to pay some of them off. We used the rest of that and then some of my other money to put the down payment, purchase the house. July 2018, you know, we're in the new house. I got probably $6,000, I would say, left-ish. And I figured, you know, $6,000, the house will sell, it'll be fine. She's taking care of one house and the bills, I'm taking care of the other, and then any, you know, expenses in between. So August goes by, September 2018. I tell the wife, I said, hey, I'm gonna join the Just One Dime community. I want to get involved. I want to just jump head in. I mean, and she's on board. She's like, yeah, look what you've done just from the YouTube content. So I get into the community. I'm feeling, you know, fired up, feeling just awesome. And then you get in and you actually see how involved it was. You would think a course is like school, like they kind of be like, here, this is what you do it, but it's nothing like that. It's people driven, people oriented. It's everybody's helping each other. There's coaches, I mean, it's just an involved group of people. It's amazing. September 10th, 2018, I go over to my brother's house for a party. And I'm, like I said, pretty bad into the alcohol, really bad actually. I go over there, and this is a picture. This is like days after joining Just One Dime. I weighed 256 pounds. Man. Anyway, so next few months are going. Things are going. I'm in the course. I'm learning things. I'm following it, what you need to be doing, and November rolls around, get pretty close to Thanksgiving, and I get a call from work, and they're like, hey, something happened with the company that we're working. They're postponing the work. You might be off for a week this week and maybe a week next month. At this time, I'm thinking, you know, no big deal. I got a little bit of money. That house still is sitting. It's not selling, which is driving me crazy. So I tell the wife, I said, hey, you know, I might have a couple weeks off. I'm just going to take some money and order some of these products and sell them. I said, it'll bridge that gap, and whatever's left over I can use for Amazon for, you know, getting the products. Well, I ordered some things in. Spent like $800. I got some video game systems, some smartwatches. Between the middle of November and I'd say the week of Christmas, right before Christmas, it ended up becoming like $4,600. And I'm just thinking this is awesome. You know, I worked a few weeks through December. I was like, I'm going to take this money, move forward with my Amazon, get the product built, and just go. Get ready and jump in. And I get the call the day after Christmas. Hey, the company decided they're not going forward with it. So in that moment, you know, in construction, your work's planned out. You know, everything's scheduled, I guess, like everything. In that moment, there's no work. There's nothing. Absolutely nothing. So, I'm not letting it bother me too much. I'm thinking, well, you know, something will come along. It's the end of December. Now, the other house still hasn't sold. December comes up, and there goes it. That's it. The last of the money that I have to keep this house going is now gone. Work is gone. And I look at the money that I had, and I just think, I'm like, you know, this is money that I decided to make to kind of bridge the gap between the weeks off. And I guess in my own mind up to this point, I thought, you know, hey, everything's going to be cool. I'm going to use this, and we're going to get this Amazon ball rolling. Well, you had to make a decision at that moment, and I took the money to save the house, save our credit, save everything. January's in there. It was like 64 below zero wind chill up here where I live in Iowa for like 9 days. I mean, it was miserable. Heat bill in the other house alone was like almost $1,000 for 2 months of having an empty house sit, and that takes a toll on you. So I'm kind of working like odd jobs at night, cleaning banks, stuff like that, while I'm waiting for work to pick back up, you know, and going from there. And I'll never forget, I started to fall into like a depression again, like the woe is me. And I remember I was sitting there. Seth does these Q&As on Instagram, and I was sitting there hung over playing Minecraft with my 7-year-old son. And my phone vibrates, and I look down, and Seth's live on Instagram. So, you know, I click it, and I'm watching him, and it opens up, and he's just like right away, you know, don't give up on things. Keep pushing forward. Every little thing you do today is going to help tomorrow. Just push through it. You got it. It's how you deal with the problems, you know. And after it gets over, I just got up, and I remember thinking, what a little baby. You're sitting here depressed about not making the money you were making. You're falling into this, you know, this little trap with the house and the other house not selling, and the money that you just had to, you know, put towards saving that. Just the mindset. I just remember thinking, what's the matter with you? So I start to come back to life. And so we're working, I'm catching up, you know, and once you fall behind, you're spending all your time to get out of it, you know, to dig back out of that hole. So a few months are going through and are going by, and of course, you know, you got unexpected medical bills, unexpected car bills, so by the time you start to get caught up, you're falling back into this, and it just seemed never ending. I haven't sold anything yet. I'm still kind of struggling with alcoholism. So this part of 2019 starting to drain through, going through, and about June comes, last June, and we were up in a school painting up in Wisconsin. It was 86 degrees that morning. And we're in the bathrooms. There's no air on in the school. There's no windows or just a door. High humidity levels. And for those of you that know what humidity is, it's absolutely miserable. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. We're drenched from head to toe. I mean, your shoes, you can wring the water, the sweat out of your shoes. And we're painting. Of course, when you paint, as it dries, it creates humidity. So you can just see the water forming and running down the walls as we're working. And my brother looks over at me and he says, he's like, "Gee, Steve, how drunk did you get last night?" "I didn't drink last night, man," which was the truth. I didn't. He's like, "Man, you smell like somebody spilled a keg of beer." I never, like, I guess you don't notice it. And I didn't notice it up until he said that. And then it was just like, wow, it was so overwhelming. Like, and I just realized, you know, and Seth always says, you know, there's a time you're going to get frustrated, you're going to get fed up, you've had enough, and it's going to be time. And you're going to know in that moment it's time. And then in that moment, I mean, just, it was it. I was like, I'm done. I'm not drinking anymore. I got to stop this stuff, you know. It's just, it's like beating a dead horse with a stick, you know. September was like 256. At New Year's, I was 236 of 2019. And I was talking with him on lunch and like, "Man, I'm eating better. I'm trying to work out a little bit." And he's like, "Yeah, but you're drinking like a fish, so it's pretty much pointless, you know." So that was it. I just at that moment. July 2019, I spent all of July completely suffering from going through the withdrawals and the things associated with when you stop drinking, you know, just really bad times. So August comes, you know, maybe the beginning of it, I'm still whatever, getting over it and working. Bills were finally caught up. Oh, sorry, the house sold in May. The other house finally sold in May. It sold for $10,000 less than we paid for it. And I guess with the money that we've put into it over the years and with what it sold for, we lost probably about $34,000 on the house. Yeah. So anyway, we're into August. We're caught up, everything. We're back to normal, you know. My time is just, you know, spent trying to get my mindset focused and be, you know, better to push forward and everything. September 13th, Friday, 2019, I come home, cut the grass, just after 5 o'clock. My wife comes out and says, "Steve, your mom just called. She's got stage 4 cancer." So you get that lump, you know, like I'm getting it right now in my throat. So I call Mom and I'm talking to her and, you know, no big deal. You know, she's fought cancer, breast cancer twice and got through it, and brain aneurysms and some other things. And she's like, "You know, I got to go to the doctor. We're going to talk about our options and we'll go from there. I'll get a hold of you guys, let you know next week." Next Friday, I get off early, I get home, and she knocks on the door, comes in crying. She's like, "Well, that's it. They told me I got 30 days. That's it, 30 days, there's nothing they can do." And so in that moment, I can't even imagine how she felt, because I can't even explain how I felt. Anger and confusion and just the emotions are crazy. So I tell her, you know, like, "Hey," she lives out of town. Our family isn't close at all. I wouldn't even say in the least bit. So I tell her, I said, "You know, we're going to get you up here. Come up here and live with us. We'll you know, I'll take off some work and we'll spend the last month. We'll do things. We'll talk. We'll bond, you know." And no. I don't want to burden you guys. I don't want anything to come after you later on. And I'm just going to die down here. And that's really sad. It's really sad when you hear that. But eventually, we convince her. She comes up here, you know. I'm taking off of work. It's maybe a week later, and get a call from a contractor on a job. They want to push it forward 2 months. And we've been working with this contractor for almost 20 years. And I tell them, I'm just like, hey, man, it's not happening. You guys are ahead of schedule, way ahead of schedule. I'm not going to sacrifice the last, 3 weeks of time that I have with my mom on this earth over coming and painting for you guys for 18 hours a day. I said, it's not going to happen. And basically, in that moment, they're just like, well, that's great. You're not doing the job. We're going to get somebody else. And that just pissed me off to know that a 20-year relationship with the business has just been completely blown away over money, pretty much. I mean, you want the money, you want to move forward, and I just like, hey man, my mom's dying, I'm taking care of her. So there goes that. So it's about 2 weeks before mom dies. The family's here, kind of having like a celebration of life, I guess you'd call it, maybe. Everybody's drinking. I'm 3 months, now, and I haven't been drinking, and I started to let the old mindset catch me, and I was just thinking, Steve, it's all right, man. Your mom's dying. You can have some beer. It's not like you're running off with your friends, jumping off of barns drunk. It's a different situation. And I remember I opened a beer, and I took a sip out of it, and it tasted so bad. And I just instantly, in that instant, Seth Kniep's always, he always says, the things you're doing today are going to have a direct impact on the things that happen to you tomorrow. And in that moment, I went in and I dumped that beer. I just dumped it, and I knew right away as I was pouring it out, I'm thinking, you know what? If I take this beer now, that'll be 3 later. I might not drink tomorrow, but by next Tuesday, I'll be back to full-blown drunk every single day. And that was that. I haven't touched it since either. Just that one sip now in 7 months it's been. So mom dies, and we go through, the next couple weeks, the funeral, the wakes, burial, stuff like that. And work's gone now. Again, now I'm doing really odd jobs. I'm hanging Christmas lights up here. It's 20 below zero. I'm outside all day and just doing odd jobs, taking them down, putting them up, shoveling snow in the middle of the night, stuff like that. What you got to do what you got to do. I mean, you got to push forward. And all of a sudden, roughly, I would say probably between the work missed, cost of everything, stuff here and there, I probably ended up about $17,000 in accumulated debt just with mom dying there. And I got nobody to blame but myself. I take full responsibility. I was the one in that moment that decided, you come up here. We'll take care of it. I can't blame anybody but myself. It was my decision. Recently, I just got another one. It's like $36,000. So we're kind of talking with that one right now and seeing where that's going to go. January pushes us to right now, where I'm at right now, January 30th, 2020. I can say still in the situation, still trying to dig out of that, but it is what it is. It's like Seth says, it's all in how you react to the problems. So you have a decision to make. I know what I'm going to do. I kind of want to finish this by saying the experiences with Just One Dime have been amazing. The inspiration that I've got from Seth has completely flipped my life around. My mindset's changed. I mean, I went from 256 pounds. Today I weigh 186. That's 70 pounds, in 14 months. I get up in the mornings, work out, I go walk every other night for an hour, even when it's 20 below zero out, because you make it a habit. I mean, by changing my mindset, it's completely changed my life. My wife has her husband back now. I mean, I wasn't there for this conversation, it was up to the in-laws. But anyway, they were talking, you know, Steve quit drinking, Steve's lost weight, Steve deals with problems, doesn't run away from them. He's just a completely different person. And my brother-in-law told her, I wish I had the old Steve back, the drunk Steve, the let's go party Steve. And my wife told him that she doesn't want the old Steve back. He was miserable. He was unhappy. He had outbursts. He made me unhappy. Our marriage suffered. She's like, I don't ever want to see that Steve again. And that kind of makes me feel good. Makes me feel real good. So, in conclusion, I just want to say, Just One Dime and Seth, you know, they didn't give me the money to give my wife to get a better job where she's happier. You know, they didn't give me the income to generate to save a house, the mortgage. They didn't give me money to do, you know, pay off any of the bills and the times. They didn't give me some special pill to quit drinking, to kick the alcoholism. They didn't give me they didn't show up here and work out to lose 70 pounds. But they gave me the motivation, they gave me the inspiration, they gave me the community, the involvement, the depth of realism that I was just lacking. The mentorship is what it was. They gave me that, and it was able to get through to me, change my mindset. I mean, I'm a better husband, I'm a better person. I mean, I feel better, I'm healthier now than I've probably been in, I'll bet you, my mid-20s. I'm 40. My marriage seems to be, you know, I would say before at best it was probably like roommates. Like we just kind of lived together type deal. We're coming up on 21 years, and I think we're closer now than we have been in the 21 years that we've been together. I feel closer to my kid. And people in general just notice. They're like, hey, Steve is a completely different person. So that's my experiences with it, and I'm glad you guys took a minute to watch it. This is Just One Dime's brand. This is their logo. I painted this down here. This right here gives me the inspiration, the motivation, the encouragement. When I come down here at 4:30 in the morning and I'm tired, or I come home in a bad mood, or I get a $36,000 bill, this right here just lets me know that no matter what you do, there's always something you can do, some way to push forward, because life's not going to give you what you want. It gives you what you deserve. So thanks, Seth. Appreciate everything. Thanks for watching, everybody.